Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm the Indy Kid.
The Vols picked up the series win over Texas A&M. We're going to get into it, but as always, before we get going here, guys, make sure you smash that like button just below the video. Press that little thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed and also hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss out when we go live or when we drop random content like this. But just to let you guys know, moving forward, we are going to be covering baseball every Sunday after the weekend series. We're going to drop a short little video once they get into the SEC tournament. If Tennessee gets into the College World Series, wherever it goes, we're going to be going with them. We'll be doing some live streams, so make sure you're subscribed and tuned in for that. But let's get into it, man. I felt like this was a big series. Kind of touched on it yesterday during the orange and white game. Just felt like it was a big series for this program because they're coming off of an emotional series against Vanderbilt last weekend. You know, that was their first SEC series loss, but even more than that, how are they going to bounce back from such a big – we talked about just how big that series was. Everybody was talking about it, but it was kind of an up-and-down weekend. You know, the Vols jumped out on A&M early yesterday in game one, and then they gave up a 3-run lead late in the game last night, and then you've got the rubber match today down in College Station. Evan Russell, man, just does it again. 3-run bomb late in the game, and then the Vols just take off, never look back. What was it, 15 runs in the last 3 innings, I think?
Oh, yeah, they were on fire at the end.
They just put it to them. But what are your opening thoughts for the weekend for this Vols baseball team?
Yeah, I thought it was a good bounce back for them this weekend. You know, they had the midweek game against Tennessee Tech where they like 3-2, took a walk-off win there. So I think it took them a little bit to bounce back right there. Friday night rained out. First game yesterday, they come out. Chad Dallas, the ace, got the job done. And then, like I said, they really kind of blew the game yesterday. And then today they were up 5-1. And then, you know, Tidwell was cruising right along. And then all of a sudden, for one inning, the wheels fell off. And they entered the inning up 5-1 and left it down 6-5. They're you know, and a lot of it was a result of defense. I mean, A&M hit it some, but when you get extra outs on it, you know, that's been one of their downfalls is their defense a lot of times. And some of it I've noticed too is they like to play the shifts a lot. I hate shifts, and especially when your second baseman's playing halfway out into right field. That's tough to compensate for.
Yeah.
Right there. Sometimes it works, but I'm not a fan of it. I think it hurts you more than it helps you. Just my opinion on that. But, you know, after that, once they took the lead, like I said, Evan Russell, big bomb. And then they hit some massive bombs those last few innings. There was, who was it? Beck hit the one that cleared the camera out in center field.
Yep.
That was a shot.
Russell's was a bomb too, man.
Yeah, it was.
It was a shot.
Yeah, they hit some bombs. And, you know, Drew Gilbert got back going a little bit this weekend. He'd been in a funk recently. So I think it was a good bounce-back series. And I know A&M's not, you know, top of the conference or nothing like that, but it's the SEC. It's a road game, and you took 2 out of 3 and easily could have won all 3 of them right there. So I think it was a successful weekend. Yeah,
Drew Gilbert, good to see him get rolling because even looking at the weekend, he went 0 for 4 in game 1, 1 for 5 in game 2. Then he was hitting the ball well in game 3. So that's a guy they need to get back on track. I feel like Jordan Beck seems to be coming out of his little mini slump that he's had. But let's look at the weekend. You know, you talk about what Chad Dallas did game 1. Vols cruised, man. They won 6-1. Chad Dallas, like you said, just dominant. Goes 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts. What do you think? Because it's kind of interesting to me because people talk about, you know, they used Hundley. They went to the bullpen to use Hundley. I saw some people complaining about that, saying that you need to save him. I don't really know what you're saving him for because he pitched today as well. But then you look at game 2 because, like I said, game 1, Tennessee cruised. They won with ease. Chad Dallas was rolling. But when you go and you look at game 2, Will Heflin struggled. He goes 3 scoreless, only gives up 2 hits. He gives up a bomb in the 4th, followed by a single, and he's trying to fight back, right? He's trying to fight back. He gets a fly out. He gets a strikeout. So there's 2 outs. He's got an 0-2 count, and Tony Vitello pulls him. I thought that's very odd timing because you're asking the bullpen at that point to go 5 1/3. And I think that's what cost them that game in game 2, because they had to lean on that bullpen, and the bullpen didn't get it done.
Yeah, I don't think there's people talk about, you mentioned about them talking about Hundley. I think guys like Hundley and Connell, the more they pitch, the more effective they are. They're just some guys can pitch every day and be all right. Other guys need rest. I think Hundley and Connell are two guys who can pitch pretty much every day and be all right there. I mean, that's their most two effective relievers. And what's interesting is you may see them close the game one day, and you may see them come in the 4th inning the next day. It's interesting because I kind of get the strategy of trying to put the fire out. But yeah, that was a kind of an odd time to lift Heflin right there. What'd you say the count was? 0-2 when they lifted him?
Yeah, he gave up the bomb, then he gave up a single, and it's he had gone 3 scoreless innings. Sometimes you have to let a guy try to fight through it, and that's the weird comparison to me is when you look at today. Tidwell was rocking and rolling, man. He was cruising, and then all of a sudden he comes out the bottom of the 5th inning. He walks 2 guys on 8 pitches, and I felt like Vitello kind of gave him an opportunity to try to work through that, and then the wheels just fell off, and they let Texas A&M right back into it.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd time to pull Heflin, but maybe he saw something that we didn't. I don't know, but that's kind of seemed the theme all weekend was. Of course, Dallas, he got the job done in game 1 Saturday, but Heflin cruised for 3 innings. Tidwell was cruising for 4 innings, and then all of a sudden that fell off. So I think that's where, I would put Dallas up against about anybody. I mean, when he went against Rocker last week, he gave up 2 runs. I mean, most times you give up 2 runs, you expect to win a game. You're going against the number 2 rated prospect. It happens. Sometimes that you do lose giving that up. But, yeah, their pen is a little shaky, I believe. I think Hundley and Connell are pretty consistent. But, there's other guys that are a little shaky at times, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. And even, Kirby Connell struggled game 2. He goes 2 1/3, gave up 4 runs. He's the one that kind of let him back in it. And that's a guy that you tend to, you want to count on. My question is really just more about not letting Will Heflin work through it, because I hate to question him, like you said, he has his reasons. So I don't know why he made that decision, but the Vols didn't get it done. Good to get that series win though. Some other news and notes from the weekend. Liam Spence extends his on-base streak to 41 consecutive games. Just
That's
absolutely
insane.
Incredible. 41 consecutive games. And a lot of that is just, man, he's just a good hitter. He's got a good eye. He draws a lot of walks. A lot of these guys on this team have a good eye and draw a lot of walks. But yeah, 41 games for Liam Spence. Let's take a look. We're going to go look at the standings and kind of look at what Tennessee has to face the rest of the way here. Let me throw it up on the screen. This is updated as of the time we're going live. Look, Tennessee is right in the mix for this thing, because when you look at their schedule the rest of the way, as far as weekend, as far as conference play, you've got your non-conference in the middle of the week, but they've got Kentucky, Missouri, both, they should come out with wins in those series. It does get a little tougher down the stretch. Number 1 Arkansas, and then they close the season with South Carolina. But what do you think of Tennessee's odds, wrapping this thing up? I think Vanderbilt, they got Florida coming up. I think they beat Mississippi State. They won 2 of 3. They did lose yesterday to Mississippi State. But Tennessee's right in the mix for this thing running down the stretch.
They are. I don't know the rest of Vanderbilt's schedule right there. Florida.
I've got it right here. Let me look at it. Let me run it off, and then you can go. They've got Florida, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Kentucky.
Where's the Florida series at?
It's at Florida.
At Florida.
That's going to be a big series this coming weekend.
Yeah, where's the Ole Miss series at?
It is at Ole Miss.
Okay, so there's your 2 opportunities right there. Going to Florida, that's going to be a tough series for Vandy. But, I mean, you look at their road record, they're 10-2 on the road, so it's not like they're bums on the road by any means. And then Ole Miss, they've been top 10 all year long. Kentucky's, right around that 500 mark. They're not a bad program. And, Alabama, when Tennessee played Alabama looked like a good team.
Yeah.
I mean, that if they're on, they can give people trouble. So I like Tennessee's schedule a little bit better than I like Vanderbilt's. But, that last series against South Carolina is going to be tough. Maybe having the Indy kid there in person is going to fire them up to come out of that weekend with the sweep. But
that could end up being a big series because when you look at South Carolina's schedule, they got their hands full too, going on the road to play Ole Miss this coming weekend, and then Mississippi State, another top 5 team, will play in South Carolina, and then they've got at Kentucky, and then that last series, Tennessee, South Carolina, there could be a lot on the line in that series.
There could be. I mean, because if you're looking at it right here, Tennessee's a game out. South Carolina's 2 games out of first in the East. So, depending on what's happened, there could be some, East title implications going on right there.
I think it's going to come down to Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Florida's got their hands full running down the home stretch here against Vanderbilt, and they also play Arkansas, your top 2 teams in the country. And then they've also got Kentucky and Georgia. So I think Florida is facing a couple of series that could be 6 conference losses right there. But I think Tennessee is right in the mix. I like the way things are shaping up. I'm glad they got back. I'm glad they got that series win today because, like I said, coming off of the emotional roller coaster of playing Vanderbilt, I wanted to see how this team would bounce back. I'm not surprised that they did go on the road to Texas A&M and get the win.
Yeah, and I think a big storyline coming out of this weekend is obviously that's probably going to intensify Texas A&M's coach's hot seat and probably intensify their pursuit of Tony Vitello that we've heard about. So, we're probably going to mention this each week that Danny White he's going to have to pony up and get the job done, man. I don't think it's only going to be about money. It's going to be about facilities. It's going to be about, we alluded to it on the Orange and White telecast yesterday. There was a deal with plane flights, them having to take 2 flights this weekend where there's just not the importance placed on baseball, or there hasn't been at Tennessee compared to other schools right there in Tennessee, how they rank at the bottom of the conference. But, that's a storyline to watch going forward as well, is what happens in regard, does it ever even become an issue or not? Because teams are going to come after Vitello if he's not locked up and if he's not happy down there. But, it was a good bounce-back series. They needed it. It had been nice to have swept it, but, they finished it good. They went out in style on the weekend. It wasn't just squeaking by. They faced some adversity in that game, and then they stormed back and just poured it on. And, I like that to end the week right there.
Yep, good series win for the Vols. Good to see Drew Gilbert get back on track again. Evan Russell just absolutely tearing the cover off the ball. That dude, 8 RBIs on the weekend, 2 bombs today. But just make sure you guys are dialed in. We're going to continue to cover this. Leave us a comment down below. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Danny White has got to pay Tony Vitello. That's it. I think if he does not get this done, if we lose this coach, then it is a bad start to Danny White's tenure in Knoxville. I think he's going to pay up. I think he's going to do what it takes. I think he can see, he's not an idiot. We all saw what this can be if this team continues to build. The atmosphere last weekend for that Vanderbilt series was unmatched, absolutely unmatched. Just an amazing atmosphere. But again, that is going to wrap it up for this video. If you've not done so yet, please do smash that like button on the way out the door. We're going to continue to cover this baseball team. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you want more coverage. If you want more, we'll give you more. But that's going to wrap it up for the Indy Kid. I'm Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
Vols.